On September 8, 1560, a woman sent all of her servants away. She insisted they leave the house. She wanted to be completely alone. By the end of that day, she was dead, found at the bottom of a staircase with a broken neck and 2 small wounds on her head. The official verdict was accidental death. But the man suspected of ordering her murder was one of the most powerful men in England, the favorite of Queen Elizabeth I herself. And the question that has never been answered in over 460 years is this: did Robert Dudley have his own wife killed so he could marry the Queen of England? This is Crime Archive. Tonight we are opening the file on the death of Amy Robsart. To understand this case, you need to understand the world Amy Robsart was living in. England in 1560 was a country still finding its footing after decades of religious turmoil, political instability, and royal uncertainty. Elizabeth I had been on the throne for just 2 years. She was young, unmarried, and under enormous pressure from her court and from foreign powers to choose a husband and secure the succession. And the man she appeared to favor above all others was Robert Dudley. Handsome, charming, and politically ambitious, Dudley had known Elizabeth since childhood. When she became queen, he was appointed Master of the Horse, a position that kept him constantly at her side. The two were inseparable. Rumors about the nature of their relationship spread across Europe. Foreign ambassadors reported back to their governments that Elizabeth was besotted with Dudley and that he with her. There was just one problem. Robert Dudley was already married. His wife was Amy Robsart, a woman he had married in 1550 when both of them were teenagers. She was described by those who knew her as gentle, kind, and completely out of place in the brutal world of Tudor court politics. By 1560, the marriage had effectively collapsed. Dudley spent almost all of his time at court with the Queen. Amy lived quietly in the countryside, moving between the houses of friends and acquaintances, largely separated from the husband who had abandoned her for power and royal favor. She was alone. She was unwell, and she was in the way. On September 8, 1560, Amy Robsart was staying at Cumnor Place, a house in Oxfordshire belonging to one of Dudley's associates. A fair was being held in the nearby village that day. Amy insisted that everyone in the household attend the fair. Every servant, every companion, she wanted the house empty. When members of the household returned that evening, they found her, at the bottom of a staircase, dead. Her neck was broken. She had 2 small puncture wounds on her head. The staircase she had fallen down was not particularly long or steep. It was, by all accounts, a modest set of steps that would have been unlikely to cause the level of injuries found on her body. Robert Dudley was at Windsor Castle with the Queen when his wife died. He heard the news by messenger. His immediate reaction was not grief, it was panic about his reputation. Within hours of learning of his wife's death, Dudley wrote urgent letters to his cousin and close ally, demanding that the matter be investigated thoroughly and publicly, not because he wanted justice, but because he was terrified of what people would say. He wrote that he was deeply concerned about the rumors that would follow. He was not asking who killed her, he was asking how to protect himself from being blamed. An inquest was held. A jury of local men examined the evidence and returned a verdict of accidental death. Case closed. Officially, but almost nobody believed it. The Spanish ambassador, one of the most powerful foreign diplomats in England at the time, wrote to his government within days of Amy's death, stating plainly that Robert Dudley had had his wife killed in order to marry the Queen. That letter still exists today. It is one of the most damning pieces of circumstantial evidence in the entire case. Across Europe, the story spread rapidly. Elizabeth's reputation, and England's, was being shredded by the scandal. Even Elizabeth herself appeared to pull back from Dudley in the immediate aftermath. Whatever she felt for him privately, the political cost of the association had become impossible to ignore. Dudley never married the Queen. He spent the rest of his life at court, remained her favorite, and was eventually given the title of Earl of Leicester. but the shadow of Amy Robsart's death never fully left him. Here is the detail that changes the shape of this case entirely. Amy Robsart had been ill for some time before her death. Contemporary accounts describe her as suffering from a malady of the breast, which many modern historians believe was breast cancer. If she was seriously ill, possibly terminally ill, then her death at the bottom of a staircase takes on a different dimension. Did she fall accidentally while weakened by illness? Did she take her own life, knowing she was dying, and choose to do so in a way that would free her husband to pursue his ambitions? Or did someone take advantage of her illness and the knowledge that her death would appear natural, and make sure she didn't survive that day? 4 possible explanations have dominated this case for over 4 centuries. Theory 1. Accidental death. Amy was ill, possibly weakened by cancer, and fell down the stairs without any outside interference. The inquest verdict was correct. The scandal that followed was simply the inevitable consequence of the rumors already surrounding Dudley and Elizabeth. Theory 2. Suicide. Amy chose to end her own life knowing she was dying. Sending the servants away was deliberate. She wanted privacy for what she had decided to do. Some historians argue this is the most psychologically coherent explanation. A dying woman with a faithless husband and nothing left to hope for. Theory 3. Robert Dudley. Dudley arranged for his wife to be killed, knowing it would be disguised as an accident. His behavior in the immediate aftermath, focused entirely on his own reputation rather than his wife's death, supports a guilty conscience, and he had everything to gain. Theory 4. Someone acting without Dudley's knowledge. A 4th theory suggests that a member of Dudley's circle, someone ambitious enough to want the Dudley and Elizabeth match to succeed, arranged Amy's death without Dudley's direct instruction. This would explain his genuine panic after the fact. He was not guilty of ordering it, but he knew exactly what it meant. In 2011, a historian named Chris Skidmore published a detailed re-examination of the case, arguing that the 2 wounds on Amy's head were inconsistent with a fall downstairs, and were more consistent with a deliberate blow to the skull before she was thrown or placed at the bottom of the staircase. If that analysis is correct, this was not an accident. It was not suicide. It was murder, staged to look like a fall, carried out on a day when every witness in the house had been deliberately removed. Amy Robsart was 28 years old when she died at the bottom of that staircase. She had married Robert Dudley at 17, before either of them could have known what the future held, before a young princess named Elizabeth would become queen, before ambition would swallow the man she had loved. She spent the last years of her life alone, unwell and largely forgotten by a husband who had moved on to greater things. Whether she fell, whether she chose to die, or whether someone chose for her, the staircase at Cumnor Place took her life on a day she had made sure no one was watching. The servants came home from the fair, and Amy Robsart was gone. What do you think happened to Amy Robsart? Was it a tragic accident? Did she choose to end her own life? Or was this a carefully staged murder carried out to clear the path to the throne? Comment the word mysteries below and tell me what you think. I read every single one. And if cases like this pull you in, royal conspiracies, forgotten women, and questions that have survived for centuries, subscribe to Crime Archive, because we are only just getting started. Crime Archive. Some files never close.